So you don't have to worry about anything. You're just talking to the Naval Review Board.
Got it.
All right. Good luck, kiddos. Everybody else is listening?
Yep.
All right.
Okay, captain. The captain is experienced and usually is braver than the average soldier. So in a storm, we can usually keep the sailors from being safe because there's usually not that brave of the crew, and the sailors keep them together and without being injured.
There won't be a voyage without the captain, because without a captain, there will be no one to lead the crew. In 7 seas, because if there was no captain, what will the crew do?
Without the captain, the crew might not do their job, and then no work would be done. Which means that if no work was done on the ship, then nobody would be able to, like, there wouldn't really be any voyage at all because no one would be able to do anything to do it properly.
Yes, we do boss the sailors around, but if we don't boss them around, no one will work, and there wouldn't be a crew for long.
And yes, we do whip people, but we do it for a good reason. And that's because they're doing something bad and need a consequence.
We do a lot of the work, and usually more than the sailors do. If the work wasn't done, the ship would not be able to sail properly.
No, we have it all done. Okay, we do a lot. Report to the ship's owner. If nobody did that, the owner might not give the sailors money. So by saying that, we mean if we don't get if we don't get the job from the owners, then we won't be able to use a crew, and that's usually our crew, and they wouldn't get to work and get their money. So if we don't get the job from the owners, they don't get any money.
That's it.
Okay. So the Naval Review Board has some questions for you.
Okay.
Can you guys politely take turns
Yeah.
answering?
From
Ellie to...
Make sure you did the responsibilities of answering.
As you said, they do get whipped, but don't you think you're being unfair to the sailors?
Yes, we do think, but no, we don't think, because we do know that there are worse punishments than being whipped. Like perhaps, like being hanged, or maybe the sailor won't be able to have it. Yeah, to get money and stuff like that. So eventually, the sailors have to be whipped in case of to get proper consequences.
Emma, don't give him everything. He's doing great until you gave him all the lines.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
But if we don't whip them, then they don't know they're doing anything wrong. So if we do whip them, then they would be able to correct what they're doing wrong. If we don't correct them, then the ship or the boat won't be able to sail with everyone doing things the way it's actually supposed to be done.
And there is, but you could give them, you can still tell them that you are, that they're doing something wrong, with a less painful consequence. But how do you know that they would listen to that? Because they have to be taught not to do that. And if they were just told, then they would think, well, they're not going to give me any real punishment, so I can just do it again and and it won't matter to them.
So they have to know that there's a consequence.
Exactly.
Anything else, Naval Review Board?
Yes.
Make sure you're splitting it up evenly for the 4 groups.
I'm not saying that you don't give them a consequence. You can just without hurting them, you can just lower their their salary and their pay, and then they would probably listen.
But
Yeah, you can go first.
well, if there was no consequence, then if they did it again, well, like if there was no consequence, they would keep on doing it. But knowing that there is a punishment, then they would stop doing it, and then everything would go.
Also with that, like you said about lowering the payment, if they kept doing it, they would eventually just want to quit. Like they would, because if we lowered their salary every time they did that, they wouldn't even want to do it, because it's not like that they were going to get paid anything if their salary was lowered.
And if their salary was lowered, it might go lower and lower till they might not get paid at all. And they might get so mad they just want to quit.
Well, what I think is that I think they're just gonna want to quit more if they keep getting whipped.
Make sure you're forming it as a question, because you're not having a discussion. You're the judge.
Okay.
So you really don't share what you think unless it leads to a question.
So can you say that again? Okay.
Alright, don't you think they'll want to quit more if you whip them and harm them than just getting paid less?
We do it because if we just lower my salary down a little, it might not completely stop doing bad things. And if we whip them, then that makes sure that they won't do it again, and more.
They wouldn't want that punishment.
And the captain is to take charge, so they're the boss, so they have to take charge of their crew instead of just lowering their salary. They have to take charge.
Okay.
This is the last comment, and then we're out of time for this group.
If we did lower their salary, like I said, I did say this before, but we give them their salary because we get hired. They don't get hired; they just work for us. So we could easily just say you're fired and they not have a job. But instead of doing that, because if we're in the middle of the sea, we can't just say you're fired and throw them overboard. We keep them on the ship, but we do still have to give them a consequence.
And the only place we
Nope.
could
I'm so sorry. That was the last comment. So crew is up next.